Okay, so I believe the homework was to play, let's see, C, and then F, and then G7. Is that right? So let's have each of you do that for me, okay? So let's, Sharon, let's have you start. Don't go as fast as I did. Do it about like this. And Sharon, can you change the angle of your screen just a little bit so I can see your ukulele more? Great. Okay, get that? That means that you heard how that's a little bit dead on your C. So press down a little bit harder. You see, have your, let's see. What I'd like everybody to do is this. Try this. I think we talked about it last week, right? Put the uke in your hand like that. And try not to have your thumb too far above. You can even, because you want to be able to press on the ukulele harder with your fingers on this side, but you also want to be able to press harder with your thumb. That's going to give you more pressure on that string. So now try that again, Sharon. Great, beautiful. Great.
Oh, that didn't sound right. What am I doing?
That's the hard one. This one right here is the one that's really hard to get pressing hard enough on. You just got to press a lot harder. Okay, play just this string alone for me. Just this one, the one that's having trouble.
I don't know which one that.
It's the third string from the top.
Okay.
There you go. Do it again. Good. Now do your F chord. I mean, now do your G7 chord. That's okay. Just keep working on that. You're doing really good. It's hard. It's hard to get enough pressure to get that one down. And that's because it's right next to the bridge here. And it's going, and see how it's like angled, that string. So it is really hard to get your finger down hard enough to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
The good thing is it hurts a lot and then it'll get to where it's easy. So that's a good way of building up the callus. So just try it one more time for me. That's okay.
I'll keep working on it.
Yeah, you're doing great. Okay, Rachel. Great. Jennifer? Do you go by Jennifer or Jen?
Either one.
Okay. Go slower. Great. Great. Trish? And Trish, can you tilt your screen a little bit more so I can see your uke?
How about this?
That's great.
Okay. All right, C first.
Yeah. Can you do that F again? We just had a bad connection for a second.
Oops.
Great. Yeah, there you go. Good. Good. Winter? All right, great. Thank you for resolving the progression. That was very nice. Kate, are you there? Maybe not. So I did a lot of piano recitals as a kid, and one time one of the students played their piece, and they forgot the last note, and then they went and sat down, and the teacher got up and played the last note because it needed to resolve. Okay, so now why do I have you doing this, where you play it one at a time? Why do I have you do that? Anybody know?
Find out where we have the issues.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I want you to do that. Keep doing that every single day, first thing, because sometimes it's real easy to not hear our mistake because we're strumming. So I want you to do that so you're really hearing what's going on, okay? So every day keep on doing that one. Okay? So now what I want you to do is remember did we talk about the hammering, right? Actually, let's wait a minute for that one. Let's just do this. Let's just have you play the chord C, and then F, and then G7, okay? Let's have you each do that so I can just hear you strum the chord. Okay, so Sharon, let's have you do that first. Great, great. Rachel? Play that G7 again. Great. Now, Rachel, I want you to do the thing where you put your ukulele in your hand like that, okay?
Okay.
Now look at my hand. Everyone look at my hand. And there's a really good reason for wanting you to do this. First of all, it's going to make it so that your ukulele never slips. And that's a big problem for uke players, is the ukulele slips while you're playing it, and then you have to reposition your hand. The other thing, though, is that when you play like this, your fingers are automatically at this kind of angle. Does everyone see my fingers, how they're at this angle? When you don't, your fingers are at this angle. And you see how hard it is to fit your fingers into one fret when your fingers are like this? But when you go like that, then they're automatically at that angle. And so they fit better. And then the other thing is that when you do that, it brings this elbow out. And that's a big part of playing ukuleles. You want this elbow out. You do not want this elbow in when you're playing, okay? So everybody do that with your uke. Hold it, put it in your hand right there between your thumb and your first finger. And then the back of your hand should be actually touching that first tuning peg right there. So if you're doing it right, this back part of your hand right there is going to actually touch that first tuning peg. And that means that you've got your hand over enough. Okay. Jennifer, let's have you do this for me. Now bring it up there. Bring it up here. There you go. Okay. Now bring your hand around so that it touches that tuning peg. There you go. There you go. Now you don't need to have it up quite so much there. You can bring it down a little bit. Not quite. There you go. Now, is that comfortable for you? Not too much. Find the position where that's comfortable for you. It's a little bit weird at first, but I want you to get comfortable playing this way and used to playing this way. I've had a lot of ukulele students that played for years, but not too much. And they come in the class and I show them holding it this way. And every single one of them says, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I could hold it that way. It's made all the difference in the world, because what happens is you're playing and it slips when you're like this. If you can do this, it'll get used to that. Do you see how it kind of is straight across my body here? You just got to get comfortable doing that, but find the way that it's comfortable for you. And all these chords, we're going to do other chords where you have multiple fingers in one fret. And so you're just going to really need to be able to have it at that angle. Okay. So Jennifer, again, play for me. Wait, was it Rachel that was doing that, or was it Rachel? Okay. Sorry, Rachel, let's have you do that for me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That was really good. Yeah, and so you had your fingers at an angle and everything was in exactly the right fret. So that was great. Okay, Jennifer. Great. Great. Yeah, Trish? Trish, I can't really see your uke. Can you just change the angle of your screen just a little bit?
I gotta boost myself up.
Oh,
Side of the chair.
yeah.
Try
That's
scooting
okay.
back.
Okay, great. Okay, now try this hand position. Try with holding your uke.
The other problem is my hand, I've got long fingers and I find that I overshoot it.
Okay, well, do you have, because did you have it where this back part of your hand's actually touching this tuner?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, and it still overshoots it if you do that? You're actually, the reason I'm saying it, Trish, is because you're actually, when you go to play the F chord, you're moving your hand like this instead of keeping it at the angle. Is it just not possible?
I think I have a little problem with my index finger going the right way. I've broken my fingers a couple of times. So.
Okay, well, don't worry about it, because the most important thing is figure out what works for you. So if it doesn't work for you doing that,
And you
okay.
know, I have found that if I move my first knuckle just right at the top of the fretboard,
Mhm.
that I better get to it.
Okay, I'd like you to just this week, just try seeing if that'll work for you, because I really think that you might find that this works better for you. But if it doesn't, don't worry
Oh,
about it.
is it supposed to be the hand? All right, how do I put this so you can see it?
Yep, good. Yeah, that's
Now, is it actually resting in that area between
yes,
the,
it rests in there. It's not just for show. It actually is resting in there. And you see how when you do that, your fingers are at an angle?
yeah,
And that's the goal, is to have your fingers at the angle and not like this. To have them
okay.
at like this. That's the goal. That, and that, I don't know if it ever happens to you when you're playing where your ukulele slips a little bit and you have to reposition it while
Yeah.
you're playing. This will prevent that if you can get
Okay.
used to doing it this way.
All right.
Yeah, so just try it this week and kind of play with it.
All right.
Can't see it all. There you go. Okay, Winter. Excellent. You didn't resolve it this time. Duh. There. Okay, so now remember we were doing the hammering the chords, right? Did we talk about that, right? So let's do that. So let's just do it together. First, let's do the F chord. So we're going to do F, 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 F. I don't want you to go any faster than this. You can go slower if you want. Okay, and remember, you really want it to be like a hammer coming down on those strings. Okay, both fingers at the same time, hitting those strings enough that you can hear it just a little bit. Mine's probably making a little bit more noise than the black ones will make. Okay, everybody, let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. F, 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 F. Can you hear your ukuleles? What's that, Trish? You're muted.
I hear the index finger. I mean the middle finger. The index one doesn't seem to make as much noise.
It's okay if it doesn't make a lot of noise. You just want to, but you really want to make sure it's like this. Everybody turn their ukulele upside down for a minute and put your left hand on it. Take your left hand. So yeah. So put your hand like this. what you want to be doing is like this. Using the uke is not the best way to do this because you're not holding it real even, but that way we can kind of see your fingers. So Sharon, have all your fingers down, all of your fingers down, all 4 fingers at an angle like that, and you're going to be going up and down. Actually, I guess you don't have to do that because that's not how it is when you're playing the ukulele. I just do it this way because of playing piano. But you see how you want them going down at the same time and going hard. Okay. So work on that, Trish, to get the other one sounding a little bit louder. That's probably your index finger issues too. Yeah. Okay, so, and then now let's do the G7. So with the G7, we hold that string down already. And then all we're gonna do is hit with the other 2, with these 2 fingers. Right, we've already got the index finger down, but we're gonna hit with the 2nd finger and the 3rd finger. Okay, let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit, G7, 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 G7. And when you're doing these, go ahead and look at your hand because you want to make sure that you're at that angle so that your fingers are hitting sideways and not, you want to make sure that your fingers are not hitting like this. Everybody, can you see what I'm doing? You want to make sure that your fingers are like this. So look at your fingers while you do this. Okay, so let's go one at a time and let me hear you do this. So Sharon, let's have you do that for me.
Which one am I doing? The G?
The F, let's do the F first.
That one I have a hard time with my fingers.
Yeah, you're doing great. It's just, it's real tricky. And everyone remember, your fingers should be like this. Keep looking at me. They should be like this and not like this. Don't let your fingers go like that. They've got to be like this, not like that, okay? This is lazy fingers. This is claw fingers, and that's what we want, is we want the claw fingers, okay? If you can, that's gonna give you the best sound. Okay, good, Sharon, just keep working on that. It takes a while, so the fact that you guys are doing this already is really good. Okay, Rachel, let's have you do that for me.
Okay.
And Sharon, let's have you mute. Go a little slower. It's like, you know, when you lift weights, if you go real fast, it doesn't do you as much good as if you go slow. Part of what we're doing is we're developing muscles that are just weird muscles, right? And so that's why you want to do this slowly. You want this actually coming all the way from up here if you do it right with your fingers at the right angle. So go slow.
And I don't get much sound when I do F. I can get a lot more sound out of G7.
Is your right hand, is it touching your strings at all?
No.
Okay. Oh yeah, I can hear it. Uh-huh. Different ukes are gonna put out a different amount of sound doing this, so don't worry about that. Okay, now do the G7.
Okay.
There you go. And you want to get those 2 fingers trained that they go down at exactly the same time. And that's why I want you looking at your fingers while you do this. And what you'll get in the habit of lifting them up the same distance, but it just takes practice, okay? Good, very good, very good. Okay, Jennifer. Great, now the G7. Great, great. Trish? Okay, I can't see you, but are you hearing it when you're doing it?
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Okay, great. And then the G7. See if you can't get your hand up a little bit more so that you're at more of an angle when you're playing that G7. There you go. Yeah. See, I want everybody to look at my fingers here. Now, notice if I play like this and I try to play G7, I can do it. It's not too hard to fit both my fingers in that fret. But if I do it like this, it's really easy to have both my fingers in that fret because they're really at an angle. They're like sideways. You see that?
Mhm.
And when we get into other chords, we're going to have chords where you have to fit all 3 fingers into one fret. And you really need to have your hand at an angle when you do that. So I want you to get in the habit now of having your fingers really at that angle. Not like this, but like that. Do you understand what I mean, Trish?
Do I have it right?
That's great. That's perfect right there. Yep. So play that for me now. Yeah, good. Yep, great.
Okay.
Okay, Winter. Right, and then the G7. Super. Fantastic. Okay, you guys are doing really, really well. Okay. Again, remember, this is the hard part. It's going to get so much easier as we go. All right. So now I'm so sorry because I didn't have the homework. I wrote it on like a sheet of paper that I lost. And so what was the other homework after that? I've got it organized now on my computer. But so
We
what was-
did each chord string by string, C, F, and G7.
Mhm.
Then we hammered F and G7. And then after that, you wanted us to do 1 strum down, C, and then F, and then F, and then G7, and then G7 and C.
Great.
The final one was C, F, G7, keep repeating 1 strum down.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's do this. So we're going to go C, F, right? That's what it was. C, F. Okay, so let me count us off. We'll go a little slower than that. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, C. Try to keep your hand at that angle. F, if you can. C, F, C, F, C, F, C, F. Awesome, that was great. Okay, Trish, thanks for changing the angle of your screen. That's perfect. Okay, now let's go F to G7. Okay, so we'll start on F and we'll go to G7. 1, 2, 3, 4. F, G7, F, G7, F, G7, F, G7, F, G7. Okay, and then we're going to go G7 to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. G7, C, G7, C, G7, oops, C, G7, C, G7. That's the hard one, isn't it? Getting back up to that G7, that's the tricky one. And don't worry about looking at your hands right now. It's totally okay. You'll get to where you don't need to look at your hands. But if you need to look at them right now, it's totally okay. So Sharon, let's have you start. Let's have you play the F, the C to the F back and forth. Oh, unmute yourself first. Very nice. Now, Sharon, I just want to talk to you about your strum. The way you're playing it is very beautiful, and we are gonna do. You'll do this sometimes in songs, but right now the strum I want you to do is the one where it sounds like all the strings are hitting at the same time. Okay? So do that again. You don't have to go faster. I just want the strum to go all down at the same time. Okay, very good. Now let's have you do F and G7. So I still want you to go faster down, but just don't go faster between chords. Just go fast when you go down, all right? Perfect. Okay, great. Okay, now let's have you do G7 to C. Okay, now be careful that you don't go so fast on the easy part going G7 to C that then you have to pause going C back to G7. It should be exactly the same speed. So go slower with the easy one so the hard one won't sound slow. Okay, do it again. Perfect. Fantastic, Sharon. Fantastic. Big, I'm seeing big improvement. I can totally tell that you're practicing. How about you? Are you feeling better about it? Or you're not practicing and I'm just imagining that? Sharon, are you there?
I lost you.
Oh, okay. Did you hear what I said?
No, it's back now.
Okay. Did you hear what I said?
No, I did not hear that.
Okay. I said you are doing fantastic and I'm seeing a really big improvement. And I can really tell you've been practicing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really, really sounds good. The funny thing is, what's that?
Well, the one thing I feel like I'm having trouble with is my index finger. Whenever it bends like this, and I don't know how it's supposed to be. You know, should it be more straight on?
Yes.
Takes more surface area on the
Yes.
up here, and my finger just naturally.
Yeah, it naturally is going to go back like this, but you got to make it go like that. And it's tough. It's tough. What you want to do is get in the habit of having this go down like that so that it can't go out like this.
And I could start that way, but then when I go to reach up, I don't know if you can see how my finger just kind of like I can start, but then when I reach up, it pops.
Okay, now though, if you can put both down at the same time, that should help with that. Rather than going 1, 2,
Okay.
if they both go down at the same time, it's easier to make them both. And that's why I discovered this hammering, because when I was learning, mine did the same thing.
Okay.
And so that's the whole reason for the hammering, is to get our fingers used to playing like this and not like that. That makes sense? Okay, but yeah, you're doing great. Okay, Rachel? And that's a totally normal problem to have, so.
Okay, C to F.
C to F. Great. F to G7. Okay, and then G7 to C. Fantastic. Good. Great job. Okay, Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer, before you start, remember to put your hand up like this. There you go. Okay. So F to G7, or C to F, I mean. Okay, F to G7. Okay, now when you're playing your F, I can tell that some of your strings are a little bit dead. Play me just the F chord like that. Yeah, see, that's what I'm hearing is this. Okay, Jennifer, look at me. Do this with your hand. Go up like that. There, now play the F chord. Oh, wait, keep it on the F chord. Put your fingers on an F chord. Okay, now roll your hand up towards your face. Now try playing it. Okay, okay. Just play the F chord for me. Just let your hand off, take your hand off. Okay, now play me an F chord. Okay, now don't take your hand off the ukulele. Now roll your fingers up towards your face. Now play it. There. You see how much better that is? And that's because what you've done is you've lifted the finger off that string. Because it's all about this finger not touching that string. There. It's so much better. Right, very good. And then the G7C. Go more slowly. Fantastic. Great. Great. Trish? C to F. Go more slowly between the chords, okay? Okay, yeah, you're having that trouble where you're hitting that string by mistake a little bit. Try doing this little bit of an angle with your fingers, see if it helps your hand, try changing your hand position because you're kind of like this. I want you to try going more at an angle.
You see how my middle finger comes out a little. I'm trying to get it on the tip of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't always go, and I think the back of the pad hits the next string.
That's exactly what's happening. So what you want to do is just get it to where you're on the tip of it and you're on the tip really close to where your nail is. Very tip. And it's up at that kind of an angle so that it can't touch the other one.
I may do it the first time, but when I come back to place it, it doesn't. Now, notice how is my wrist in the wrong position or the right position?
It's in the wrong position.
Okay.
Push it out this way.
Wherein lies the issue.
Yeah.
Because I can feel it, but I can't get it back the other way.
Yeah. For me, the big way that I tell if I'm doing it is I actually do this and make myself touch the tuner. I don't maybe keep my hand touching the tuning.
When I roll my wrist around to get the fingers into place, I have difficulty with it. Because it wants to go back in this way.
Yeah.
I don't know what the because I set it up that way and I go to play the C and then I try to get into the F position and I tend to turn my wrist around in order to get to it.
Yeah, and I think that's natural is that we do that. We go C and then F. But what I want you to do is when you play the F, I want you to think of it as bringing your hand up. Bringing your hand up, and so that you're at that angle. That's going to really help that angle. Yeah, and also notice that you've got your uke way up here. I want it more straight across.
Well, I was just trying to show you the finger.
Oh, okay, great. All right, super. Yeah.
How's that? Better?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
that wrist doesn't feel like it's in the right spot.
Yeah, it's an odd position at first.
Okay.
It's totally odd at first, but
What exercises do I do to keep it?
there's no exercise. You just look at your wrist and write yourself a big note across your homework to look
Okay.
at your wrist. Also, you can let me look real fast. Ukulele players are really awesome about helping each other with things. So let me see if there's one that I have. Let's see. I don't want to send you to the wrong one because some people don't hold the uke this way, which also means that if you totally don't want to, you don't have to. But I really want you to.
Right way to do it.
Yeah.
Want to play the guitar but don't know where to begin? Musician is the best way to get started.
Okay, I'm gonna find this and I'll post it. I'm pretty sure there's a video that can help with this. So
And it's funny because it's I know what I'm doing wrong, but I can't seem to stop from doing it.
yeah. Well, and for me, once I started
I have to
doing
shift
it,
my entire hand in order to get into that F chord.
yeah, well, and for me, when I started doing it right, what happened is that I opened up my body.
Okay.
Before I was doing it right, I was playing like this. See how I'm closed? Can you see how I'm kind of closed up?
Yeah.
And then when I started doing it right, then all of a sudden I was doing this because it forces that elbow out and it also forces the fingers to be at this kind of angle. Yeah, that's so much better.
I'm just gonna have to keep practicing it.
Yeah, yeah, it just takes practice, and I'll see if I can find that video and I'll post it in the group, okay?
Maybe stretching my hand out a little bit might help because you know what it is, the tendons feel tight.
And you know what? I'm gonna post something else too. There is a video that I know that's really good hand stretches to do before you play ukulele. Yeah, so I will post that one too.
Okay.
That one is fantastic. Those stretches really make your fingers feel good before you play. Okay, so I will post both of those. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay.
G7 to C is fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And then I used to be able to. I thought I had the F right, but because I was putting my hand where I felt comfortable, it wasn't coming out right.
Yeah, and that's the trick. It'll look right, but it won't sound right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, great. Winter? Great. The F to G7. Winter, be careful. Be careful about this middle. Winter? Winter. Yeah. Great. Yeah, now the G7 to C. Fantastic. You guys are doing really, really, really well. Okay. And then now we have the F, G7, C, F, G7, C, right? So now, but instead of doing it just one strum, did I tell you to do it this way? Down, 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 hit. Did I show you that? Okay,
You
so
did
let's
it in the class, but that wasn't part of the homework.
homework. Okay, so let's just try this, okay? Because I'm going to give you some homework with this strum pattern. So the strum pattern is down, 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 hit, down. Just do this with me on an F chord. Down, 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 hit, down, 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 hit, down, 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 hit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go C, F, and G7, but it'll sound like this. We start on C, down, 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 hit. Then we go to F, 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 hit, G7, 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 hit, C, 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 hit. Okay, so let's do that together. We start on C, F, and then G7. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, C, say it with me. C, hit, F, 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 hit, G7, 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 hit, C, C. You guys look fantastic. Hit, F, 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 hit, G7, 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 hit, C, 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 hit, F, 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 hit, G7, 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 hit, C, C, C. Okay, awesome. So I want to hear each of you do that for me, okay? So Sharon, you start us off.
Starting with the F.
C, and then F, and then G7. Say it. C, hit. Now, you've got to do the hit. The hit you should hear.
Okay.
Part of playing ukulele is using the ukulele to do a little bit of percussion. We're going to do different things, but hitting, your ukulele can take it. You're not going to break it. We're going to do really cool stuff where you hit your uke. So go right ahead and hit it, okay? So let's do that again. C, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. Awesome, very good. Great, Rachel?
Okay.
Okay, Rachel, I want you to put your elbow out just a little bit more. You're actually doing your hand position really good, but let yourself put your elbow out and make sure, everyone, that you never practice in a chair that has arms. You just can't play ukulele in a chair that has arms. So let's do that for me again, Rachel. Okay. Excellent. And are you using this finger on the C? I couldn't tell.
My ring finger.
Okay, good. Yep. That's great. I couldn't just, it was a little dark there, so I couldn't see, but yep, you're doing it exactly right. Jennifer? Cool bus behind you, by the way, Rachel. Excellent. That's great. Okay, Trish? Okay, now, when you do the hit, the hit should be in the same timing as your strums. So what you're doing is you're going strum, 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 hit. But I want it to be strum, 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 hit. Just exactly the same timing. Okay, so do that again for me.
All right.
Okay, be careful. You're just doing the hit a little bit fast
Okay.
because you want your beat to be like this. Strum, 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 hit. Strum. Do you see how they're all?
It should be the fourth, the upbeat of the fourth strum.
It should, I don't know. It should just be on the exact same timing. If you were going
Yeah,
one,
well, you're doing it strum, 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 hit, strum, 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 hit.
there. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly. Okay. Winter.
Little bit rhythmically challenged.
The fact
I
that
used to drive my clarinet teacher bonkers. I'm going to do that Mr. Holland Opus banging on your head.
when you said upbeat, I thought that sounds like a band geek to me, which I was. So
Well, I tell you something. The first time I ever picked up an instrument, it was at the age of 40 when I quit smoking.
wow, that's
I
amazing.
learned how to play clarinet. Always
Oh.
wanted to, just couldn't do it. But it's, teaching an adult is way different than teaching a child
Yes.
because we got too many bad habits. But I found a teacher who was retired, and I was his first adult student, and it was just kind of like he taught me a lot of music theory and everything else, but I don't play anything really well, but I enjoy myself, and I think that's the most important.
That's the most important thing. And actually, it's really good for adults, for our brains to pick up a
Oh,
new,
absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
learning a new language. So it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So good for you. And good for you quitting smoking. Yeah. Okay, Winter. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, now I'm going to show you something here. Let's see. I'm going to share the screen on this. Oops, let's see. That's the wrong one. Let's do this one. Okay. Okay, can everybody see that? Okay, now the way that this method works that I'm teaching you with is that we'll have different chord exercises as we go. And then we'll have songs that use those same chords. So right now we know 3 chords, C, F, and G7. So this chord exercise is going to use those 3 chords, and it's harder than any of the songs that we're going to play using those 3 chords. Then we'll go to exercise 2 after we've learned some songs, and then then you don't have to play exercise 1 anymore because it adds the new chords and keeps the old ones. So what I'm saying is you're going to have this exercise 1 for a little while. It's a little bit hard. And so don't worry about that because it's something that you'll master as you go. All right. So let's try this. Now what this means, this is how ukulele music is going to look. You're going to play the C chord as a down, down, down hit. And then you're going to do it again. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. G7, G7, G7. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so here we go. 1, 2, Trish, you okay? You got it? 1, 2, 3, 4. C, C, C. Say it with me. Hit. C, C, C. Hit. C, C, C. Hit. G7, 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 hit, G7, 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 hit, G7, 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 hit, G7, 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 hit, F, 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 hit, F, 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 hit, F, F, F. Say it with me, hit. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, C, C. G7, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. C, 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 hit. F, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. C, 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 and then repeat the last line. C, 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 hit. G7, 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 hit. F, 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 hit C, 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 hit C, 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 hit F, 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 hit G7, 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 hit C, 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 hit. All right, and I don't know if I showed you this last week, but this means that you repeat. And normally it would mean you go all the way back to the beginning, but because we have another repeat here, it means you just repeat the last line. Now,
Is there some way to get this printed up or sent to us?
yes, so I'm gonna post this in the group and I'd like you all to print it out. I'll be posting other stuff too, so I hope you have a printer, maybe a folder or something to keep things in. And you have to be careful when you're playing this because up here, super easy, right? Then you get here, it's a little bit harder, but then you get here, it's pretty tough. So don't play this part fast because it's easy, because then you're gonna get down here where it's harder and then down here where it's even harder. So go slow, but even, so there are no pauses. Okay? Make sense? Okay, so our homework for this week is, let's see, I want to write it down as I tell you so we do it. So you're going to still do this, okay, one at a time. You're going to do the hammer, and I'm going to post this in the group so you'll have this too. Then the hammer on the F and on the G7. Okay, then I want you to do one strum, C to F, C, this is what we had before. I want you to keep doing these until we get them really good. And then F to G7, F to G7, and then G7 to C, G7 to C, and then this chord exercise. Okay, so that's the homework for this week.